In this video, I'm going to tell you the number one reason why people not just struggle with weight loss, but also struggle to keep it that way after bariatric surgery. The answer is protein, and I think protein is extremely misunderstood. There is this illusion that it is a high protein diet. It is not a high protein diet. It is a let's try and eat the right amount of protein diet. Pre-surgery, so people with high BMIs, there is a very good chance that protein targets aren't being hit. One, it's very metabolic, and people who have had lots of yo-yo diets in their time, metabolism can be quite up and down, but also it's very, very filling. One of the reasons people snack quite a lot, or indeed can suffer from binge eating, of course, there's many mental layers to that. But not having optimal protein day to day can be a very common reason also. Now, the number one reason why people like myself and dietitians tend to go on about protein is, yes, of course, we want people to get the most successful weight loss. But it just so happens that for optimal health, protein is super important as well. Enzyme function, so the acids that break down food in our tummies, and obviously our tummies, the digestive system has changed, so this is even more important. Muscle retention, we don't want to get weaker as part of this process. Protein is going to help with that. You could also put loose skin into that, which isn't so much a health benefit, but what we don't want to do is lose muscle for the health benefit, and the offset of that can be loose skin, which for a lot of patients isn't desirable to do. So there's a big tick towards protein for that. Hair, how many patients are very, very aware that hair loss can occur? That's because cell regrowth is compromised when protein is not at its right amount. So there's so many reasons to concentrate on protein. Just on the hair side of things, I think it's really important to realise there can be a 2 to 3 month lag with protein. So what I mean by that is if you're hitting protein, particularly in those early stages, which can be quite common, then maybe 2 to 3 months post-procedure, which is probably the most common time that hair loss occurs, there's the lag there. And when people start eating more protein because they realise the hair loss is starting to occur, there can be an illusion that maybe protein's not working, or indeed it's not protein, because it can take 2 to 3 months to get it back again. So please fundamentally be processing around your protein. It is super important for hair. But the reason why there is this kind of misunderstanding around protein with regards to achieving weight loss, to, again, in my opinion, the most effective thing to allow weight loss to occur and to keep it that way after bariatric surgery, mainly because it's so filling. And of course, if you're prioritising meals with protein present in all of them, you're less likely to snack with bariatric surgery, which is a very powerful combination. We know slider foods exist. We know that that can be a real problem to weight gain for bariatric surgery patients. So let's optimize those meals with protein present, and you will be onto an absolute winner long term. But this misunderstanding is, like I say, there's this idea that it's a high protein diet, when actually we're looking just to bring it roughly to around 25 to 33% of our day. You're still going to be majority carbs and fats, and that's where the confusion I think comes from. Every gram of protein is only 4 calories. So even if you were to eat 100 grams of protein per day, which for a lot of patients seems on the top end of the spectrum, well, that's only 400 calories. Now, yes, in those early stages, you'd probably not be hitting 100 grams of protein. You're going to be hitting closer to, say, 60 grams of protein. So that's 240 calories. It's pretty common that patients in those early days can be hitting 600, 700, 800 calories, even on liquid and puree and soft. So again, 33% of your day, but I've heard people sort of say, oh, I feel like I'm swimming in protein all the time, when in essence you're not. Every gram of carb is also 4 calories. Now think about carb, the non-fibrous carbs, not so filling. So because of that, you can overconsume those quite easily, but protein you tend to get very full very quickly. The fibrous carbs, just on while we're on that side of things, very filling. So your vegetables, your brown carbs, these sort of things here are much more filling. These are much more filling compared to your sort of sugary refined carbs. That's why I say our meals should be made up of protein and colour, because the colour, vegetables and fruits tend to be fibrous. And every gram of fat is 9 calories. It's far denser. We need a certain amount of fat in our diet. So, you know, it's quite often that patients might hit between 30 and 50 grams of fat. So you're talking, you know, between 270 and 450 calories of fat, and that's fine. But my point being is that this is not a high protein diet. You're going to be hitting very similar amounts of fat based on the density of the calories versus the gram. And if we just go back to maybe pre-surgery, well, let's just say, for example, we're not having breakfast, or we're skipping breakfast, or we're reacting to the day, we're having a croissant or whatever it may be. And then at lunchtime, I don't know, let's just say we're having a meal deal, we might get some ham in the sandwich or whatever it may be. And then going into the evening, you might have some sort of dinner. You're talking less than 40 grams per day there. Not very full. Maybe as the day goes on, we're getting more stressed out and tired. We're being reactive to the day. And that's usually where carbs, foods that have carbs and fats put together, can be very moorish, very tasty, and not very filling, and this is usually where weight gain occurs. Whereas if we use protein as a pillar, no more, no less, as a pillar of our day, to have 3 meals of which protein is present in all of them, you tend to get small amounts of protein in other food groups as well, such as lentils, beans, baked beans, etc. But with that, you will get very, very close to your 60 to 80 grams, but you might need to rely on supplementation. And there's no problem with supplementation shakes or indeed bars. These can be a really good resource to supplement the diet. That's exactly what they're there for. Let's try and get protein through whole food sources, because you're going to get other nutrients from them whole foods. So salmon, for example, you're going to get your omega-3 and omega-6 alongside the protein. But then from that, just like any supplementation, if you're low on it, you can supplement accordingly, and that will top it up to be at a very, very healthy amount. And it's no better time to have a supplementation shake either first thing in the morning or indeed last thing at night, because you tend to get that sweet kick, but also it's going to keep you full in maybe those slightly more vulnerable times. Just for the record, protein lives in chicken, fish, beef, quinoa, beans, lentils, tofu, Greek yogurt, eggs. Have I said egg already? I'm not sure. Lots of different food groups contain protein. Try and incorporate these into your meals, and if not, supplement, as I say. And then once you get a flow, it's not going to happen in one day, guys. It's going to be more, putting up 2 to 3 weeks into months into this. You will have a very steady routine towards your hunger. Hunger's quite similar to the circadian rhythm of sleep. When people go to bed at the same time, they tend to wake up at the same time. But when you go to bed whenever, you tend to just wake up whenever. You can be exceptionally de-energized when you do the latter, even if you've had more sleep, just because of the fact that it's just off sync. And food and hunger is similar. The best way of describing it is like the holy month of Ramadan, where it's currently happening at the moment. You speak to any Muslim who partakes in that. I used to live in Dubai, I used to speak to friends, and I used to say to them, I don't understand how you're doing this. It sounds ridiculous that you don't eat all day or drink all day. And that to a man and a girl, they will all say the same thing. After 10 days or so, you get used to it. So we know that the rhythm of our days change when it comes to eating patterns. And bringing protein present to be a pillar in the day, throughout meals, throughout the day, prioritising that time, it's important. We have to fuel ourselves. We have to fuel an active lifestyle. And having protein as an ally throughout the day, not only can you get all the health benefits towards your hair, your muscle retention, your enzyme function, etc., you're going to feel full throughout the day. You're going to be aiding your metabolism. After bariatric surgery, when you lose lots of weight quite quickly, your metabolism goes down quite quickly. Your body goes into a protection mode. The body doesn't particularly like losing weight very, very quickly. That's linked to cavemen days. The body is designed for survival rather than health. So even if you are a 25 stone individual and you lose 10 stone, that's a very healthy thing to do. But the body will challenge that because it's not too sure why we're losing so much weight. There's a bit of a clash there. So my point being is that we want to do all the metabolic things that we can do: exercise, sleep, and certainly protein. This is going to aid your weight loss, it's going to aid your health, it's going to aid the predictability of your snacking. Tremendous benefits towards protein. And the problem I feel is out there is that people feel it's unachievable because they don't understand the numbers. And hopefully from today, that understanding of 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. We're looking to hit about 80 to 100 grams of protein eventually, which is only 320 to 400 calories. If you're having 1200 calories plus, which you should be, eventually that's what we should be building up towards. We should be exercising enough that we're eating 12, 13, 14, 1500 calories. People who aren't hitting those targets potentially are aiding a restriction they don't need to do, or indeed they're not being active enough. But if we build up to those sort of numbers, you will still lose weight, you will still be in a calorie deficit, you will still be losing body fat, but also you'll be fueled and energized to keep it that way. And that is why protein is so valuable. And I really hope any misunderstandings out there around protein have been tidied up in this video, and tomorrow you take action and you make protein present. Go and explore the shelves, go and find out what suits you. It's not me to say you should be having salmon on a Wednesday and doing these meal plans. Go and explore, go and find out what works for you, and make sure you hit your 80 to 100 grams spread out throughout the day. My name's Harry Hedges. I hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to catching up with you soon. Bye-bye.